Hello everyone. Today we're at Bishopwearmouth Cemetery, at one of the most beautiful spots in the cemetery and probably one of the most picturesque burial grounds in the whole of Sunderland. We're at the burial ground of the Religious Society of Friends, also known as Quakers or just Friends. It's a peaceful place. I think it's pretty much dead centre of the cemetery, and here lies hundreds of the area's Quaker community. The cemetery itself was opened in May 1856, and this particular spot was given to the Quakers. The cemetery also had a Jewish section over towards the bottom of the cemetery on the corner with Hilton Road. There was a non-conformist section for people like Methodists, Presbyterians, Baptists. There was a Catholic section, then an Anglican section, then there was unconsecrated sections. But it's quite a sight if I just stand back and have a look. Row after row of simple stones. We'll have a look at a couple of them. The sun's a bit bright on that side, so it might be easier on this side, but the Quakers believed in uniformity in death. So in their history it was decided that they would have like a uniform sort of headstones, so there's nothing ostentatious, it's all simple. It looks like some war memorial out in France. Before this burial ground, the previous one was on the corner of Borough Road and Nile Street in town, which I think was from around 1822 to 1856. There's a car park on the site now. Before that, the first Quaker burial ground was from the late 1668 or 1658 on the bottom of High Street West, Garden Lane. Now there's a little epitaph here, well, epitaph, say a plaque, which remembers those from that first graveyard from the 1600s. Here we have. So in this place the remains of 202 persons buried in the ground behind 148 High Street West and Garden Street, Sunderland. So it was Garden Street, not Garden Lane, sorry. Between the years 1670 and 1821 were reinterred on the 21st of 4th month 1923. So the graveyard was dug up, the Quakers sold the land, and they were reinterred at this particular cemetery. But a few more were found when they were doing the sort of ring road. I think late 80s a few more were found where they're a bit lower down. So if you have a look, all the headstones, same size, and they'll have the same format on them. So you could have here somebody, one of the leading Quaker businessmen, like a backhouse, buried next to a humble carpenter or a pauper, but they all had the same headstone. I'll have a look over clear. There is one which is a bit of an exception, which is this one, which will, if you compare this, it's got a carving there, and it says remembrance of John Pickard who died in peace. So an epitaph as well, on the 2nd day of 2nd month 1859, aged, I think that's 81 years. So he was born way back in the 1700s. So he might have been one of the first Quakers to be buried in this one. So that's why his might be different. Because I'll show you another one, which has, there's quite a few have actually sort of to start to like weather away, erode sadly. And then this one's completely tipped over. A few down this back end starting to be covered in ivy. But the ones on that side don't seem to have like weathered away like these ones have. If you look, there's quite a lot. I don't know whether that's due to the weather, maybe the trees dripping onto them. Let's have a look at a standard one. There's quite a few of the same surnames crop up throughout this, so let's have a look for something cleared. So this one is Margaret Potter. She died, I think that's 12th, 5th month, 1931, aged 83 years. So there, they don't mention days of the week or months of the year because they had pagan origins. So it's always first month, second month, third month, and so on. See if we can find some well-known names. Well, there's the couple of members of the Quaker family there, Quaker family. That's Edith and Francis. Some great surnames there. There's a Beatrice Marriage, that's a great surname. And then here we've got a James Botham Marriage, so possibly a relation. They died a couple of years apart, possibly husband and wife. That's the one downside, even though they look beautiful, you can't get a great deal from the headstones if you're looking for family trees and stuff like that. George William Pearman, and behind him there's an Elizabeth Pearman. Lots of these Quaker families had businesses in the town. Names like Grimshaw, there's a Wilson who had grocery business. Corder, I think they had a fashion shop, and another Grimshaw, might have been the ones with the tea room. William Jones, he wrote a book. If you Google William Jones, Quaker, Sunderland, died 1899, he was a Welshman, and he sometimes went around Europe with other Quakers when there'd been wars on, helping the casualties, because obviously Quakers were pacifists. And I've got this one here is William Dove, died 5th of 1st month, I think that's 1890, and he was just aged half an hour. And along here we have got, let me torch, it is Irene Dove, died 4th month 1892, age 10 days. So I believe they were brother and sister from the same family, the Dove family. Frederick William Thackeray, he was 9 months. May Holmes, she was just 5 years. So lots of children sadly buried here as well. There's quite a lot. I think the commonest names I've come across here are Wilson, Grimshaw, and that's another Pickard, another Grimshaw, another Pearman, possibly is the wind. That one's worn away. A hell of a lot of them have. If I stand back and I'll show you, if you look across there, there's a hell of a lot of them. It's got to be due to something with with the wind over here, something like that. See, I think there's some back house there. There's Lucy back house. Back house leading Sunderland family. There's Thomas James back house. Ramshaw. It's a great surname, Pearce. Now that second Quaker burial ground down at Nile Street, Borough, corner of Borough Road, in 1859 there was plans to remove the bodies from that particular graveyard and bring them here and give the Quakers another burial ground in the cemetery. Now sadly the Sunderland Echo online and British Newspaper Archive stops it after 1959, so I can't work out whether that actually went ahead, because there isn't another Quaker burial section, but also there's no plaque here to say that those people were reinterred like there was for the other one over there. So I can't say for definite whether, I've got a feeling they're still there because nothing's been built on the particular site, and they've just relaid a car park on top of it. I don't think anybody would want to have to pay to dig up the remains. When there was plans to do that to the cemetery in 1859, the old Quaker burial ground, it did say if you wanted to, you could come and dig up any of your relations yourself. So I don't know how popular that would be, but you can see, I've never actually noticed this before, these headstones were created by Macmillan, which was a local company. I've never noticed that before, just because I'm walking at this angle here. It's a peaceful place. See if I find any other names. See, there's a William Atkinson there. Died 25th of 5th month, 1898, aged, I think that's 32 years. And then next to him is another William Atkinson who died 3rd of 3rd month. Oh, that's worn away. Aged. Again, it's worn away. Possibly likely relations. Maybe father, son. Both ways. It could be one could be an older father or a younger son. And then this one is Sarah Clayton. She was died the 18th of 2nd month, I think it's 83 or 85 or 1896, I can't tell, age 42 years. I've done a story on her. If you're in Sunderland history or anything like that, search The Nurse. I've done a story about her. She worked at one of the local hospitals, but I believe she caught either typhoid or typhus. And she was buried here. I mentioned before. Another Pickard. I've looked down this back row, maybe lots of Richardsons as well. There's Hunts, more Hunts, Spraggan, another Richardson. Sadly, that one has fallen over. Lots of Martins as well. It's quite a warm day in that sun. Go up here because one of the trees fell down a couple of years ago in Storm Arthur. I've got a feeling these bushes probably went across here and covered it completely apart from one end, since it would have even looked more picturesque if that was the case. But now it's open at this end. But one of these big trees collapsed the other year and took a few headstones down, and it is starting to get a little bit overgrown over here. There might be some behind here as well. These ones are completely overgrown by ivy. I think there's also some cremated remains. Potter, Woodman, Brown. There's another backhouse, Edith Margaret backhouse. Then there's a William Horsseason, died 25th of something, 1934, age 91 years. I think Horsseason's possibly Shetland Islands or an Orkney surname. The one thing, if I stand back, now if you go to any cemetery or burial ground, not everybody had a headstone. In fact, probably most people never had a headstone. But if you look here, out of the entire cemetery, or burial ground I should say, there's only a couple of spaces where there's no headstones, but then again some have fallen over. And if we look down there, there's not many gaps, is there? It's pretty much every single person who is buried in this particular burial ground has got a headstone. So if you ever want to visit, it's just, you can't miss it. It's right in the middle of the cemetery. I remember passing it years ago, and it never crossed my mind that it was a Quaker burial ground. Just didn't think anything of it. It's amazing what you don't see or don't notice. So I'm going to leave the video there. And if you do enjoy it, please give it a like, and if you click on the subscribe, it'll help grow the channel, and I'll see you next time. So thanks for watching. Take care.